Nordischer Klang-Podcast. Gespräche über Musik und Kultur. In dieser Folge ist die isländische Sängerin Stína Ágústsdóttir zu Gast, die sich in den letzten Jahren einen Namen in der skandinavischen Jazzszene gemacht hat. Mit ihrem aktuellen Album Yours Unfaithfully erkundet sie Genregrenzen und gibt Jazz eine experimentelle, selbstbewusste und feministische Note. Am 9. Mai wird Stína als Highlight des Festakts in der Stadthalle Greifswald zu erleben sein. Stína gibt uns Einblicke in ihren musikalischen Werdegang, die letzten Veröffentlichungen und ihre Herangehensweisen ans Musikmachen. Das nachfolgende Gespräch findet auf Englisch statt.
Hello, Stína. It's nice to have you here. We would like to ask you the first question, which is, how did you get started with music? Was it something you always wanted to be doing? I've heard an interview where you had quite a different path laid out for you.
Yeah, well, I think music came automatically and naturally when I just was born, I guess. My family is pretty musical. I mean, I used to sing and dance a lot when I was a kid. I was in choirs, and then I danced ballet a lot. I almost became a dancer first. That was the first career path that I almost chose, and then I went into studying engineering. Mechanical and industrial engineering. But I was always singing and dancing, and that's what I really wanted to do. So it came to a point after my studies that I was just like, I'm so depressed. I don't want to do this. I just want to sing and dance. So that's what I decided to do.
Okay. Did you work in engineering at all after you studied?
Yeah, I mean, I studied for 4 years. It's the same as in Germany, I think. It's 4 years Kant science or something degree that I got. Yeah, and after that, I started my own IT company, which is so ridiculous. And then I sort of gave up on that because I really didn't want to be there. And then I applied for a job in Iceland, and I got hired. And I worked for a year and a half, I think it was in total. We moved to London with a company that I got hired at. And then I got fired. In London, I was made redundant, which was pretty great because I got redundancy pay. So
nice one.
I regret nothing. But I mean, after graduating, I sort of promised myself to pursue music as well. So I started studying singing at the Reykjavik Academy of Singing, which is like a college level music school. So that's when I sort of realized oh, there's no turning back now.
Okay, but were there any jazz programs or were you classically trained?
No, that was classical singing.
Okay.
A lot of Lieder. Ich wollte dich für ein Fisch. I learned some German songs there, which I still know them, I think.
That's nice. Is there any way that the classical training influenced you in your jazz singing, or?
I mean, the technique is always really good in classical singing, and I didn't go all the way, so I don't have that technique, which takes years to develop. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I can still hear my singing teacher oh, imagine the sound coming from your nose, la la la, and the breathing and everything. Mm-hmm. But I realized when I was studying classical singing that it wasn't for me, because I remember this one lesson where I was singing something in Italian, I think. But anyways, I asked, can I sing it a little differently here? And the teacher was like, no, I mean, you can skip breathing in between these two notes or not. That's the choice that you have. And I was just like, oh my God, that is like a musical prison for me. So I was like, nah, I'm going to sing something different, like pop or something, or jazz. I don't really know how that came about. But yeah, I didn't want to continue with the classical singing. I'm too chaotic for that.
Yeah, I mean, jazz is a much more free form and open to interpretation and reinterpretation.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I love about performing jazz, is that you don't know what the end result is going to be. And it might be magic. Like if you're playing a pop tune and there's a backing track and everything, you know what the end result is going to be. It's going to be sort of like the recording or the live set.
Yeah.
But if you have this open space where you can do what you want, you can experience amazing things. And that's sort of like a drug for me. I don't know.
How did your jazz socialization go about? What did you hear when you were younger or when you studied? What inspired you?
Yeah, I guess I was drawn to like divas. So I listened a lot to like Aretha Franklin and Peggy Lee and Dusty Springfield. And then it sort of went into like more jazzy things as well. So it was like very traditional kind of like jazz diva music that I listened to. So that's how that sort of started. And I think the first jazz album that I got, I stole it from my brother, was like a sample album that had like Miles Davis and John Coltrane and other Stan Getz. Yeah, he had it and then I stole it and I still have it. And I know all the solos from that album. That's funny.
You've been a part of the jazz scene in 3 different countries, in Iceland, in Canada, in Montreal, where you studied, and in Sweden. How do they compare? Were there any notable differences you noticed?
Definitely. So I became a professional musician in Montreal. And people there are extremely laid back and inclusive and welcoming. And when you play a gig there, people are interactive, you know if they like it or not. And they give you a lot of feedback, you know. And the people on the scene are very like welcoming, and you can just end up in jams here and there and there's no issue. It's very like, yeah, laid back. And it was a bit of a shock for me to play my first like official jazz gig in Iceland. I think it was around 2008, maybe 2007. Anyway, it was a show with like some of the greatest jazz musicians in Iceland. Sigurður Flosason, Einar Skeving, and maybe Kjartan Valdimarsson. I don't remember, but I did my best. I thought I was doing great, but there were no facial expressions on the audience.
Oh, goodness.
It was just poker face. And I was so sad, and like I tried harder and harder to like get them into it, you know, like I gave it my all. And I felt like they hated me because they all had like sort of angry facial faces, you know, in the audience. And I'm just like, oh my God, that was terrible. And then after the gig, people came up to me and were like, oh, that was so moving. That was the greatest thing I ever saw. Oh my God, you know. So I learned that the Nordic countries, they don't express as much when they listen to music. But then the musicians in Iceland, you always have a connection with people because you know somebody that knows them. So getting into the scene there is much easier than in some other places because, you know, there's just so few people. And the fact that I studied in Montreal was a bit, you know, interesting because it's North America and jazz is very North American. So it wasn't hard for me to get into the scene in Iceland. It was actually pretty nice. And I got to know a lot of the people there, and I played with some amazing people there. And it's very like familiar. It's like a family.
Yeah.
Sometimes with a lot of drama and stuff, but you know.
It's also part of a good family.
But then the Swedish scene is much harder. There's no connection between Montreal and Stockholm. There was only one person that I knew here that sort of did jazz. Erika Andersson was her name then. Now it's Erika Angel. Or Angel. And that's because her husband is a guitar player from Montreal. So they used to play together. So she was the first person that I contacted here. And it was hard because I had to start from scratch to build a network and like get to know musicians. But what helped me was that I knew some Icelandic people that play a lot in Sweden and have like Swedish colleagues.
Okay.
So they could like vouch for me and say, she's pretty good. Because it sucks if you come into you go to a gig or something, you start talking to the musicians, like, yeah, I'm okay. Believe me, I am. It's not great. You always have to get like recommendations. That's sort of how that started. And then Sigurður Flósason, or Siggi Flósason, saxophone player in Iceland, his daughter moved to Sweden. Anna Greta is her name. And he's like, can I give her your number, if she needs some help or something? So we started playing that.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to the university here, the Royal College of Music. And there we got to know, like, I sort of hung around,
Yeah.
And then we sort of like reached out to our own careers and network. And it's just, it takes time, but it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly have a talented bunch of musicians with whom you do music together the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Did you notice any change over the last years in the jazz scenes in the countries you've been in? And have you been to Montreal again professionally, or was it just a studying thing?
The last time was 2019.
Oh, okay.
It's a long time ago.
That's a couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Well, since COVID, it's sort of like an enigma, how many years ago it is.
Yeah.
It seems like forever, but yeah. That was great, actually. I got to reconnect with some of my colleagues there, and I played at a jazz club in Montreal, and then I played at the Icelandic embassy in Ottawa.
Okay, that's nice.
And we played for like a bunch of ambassadors. I don't know how many there were, but from like the US and Canada and everything. And we did the Icelandic and Canadian national anthems, like in a jazz group.
Okay, nice.
That was hilarious. The Icelandic national anthem is like, nobody sings it. It's very difficult to sing. But it was fun.
Okay, so we can talk about your latest two releases. You have been quite productive in the last couple of months. There was your solo endeavor, Yours Faithfully, which came out late last year. And you were a singer of the group, or are a singer of the group Alva.
Yes.
And you released an album, The Songs of Bird, Bacharach. So they came out quite close together, and the music is rather different, I would say. In what way does the process differ when you write and produce your own songs or reinterpret classics?
Oh, that's totally different.
Yeah.
Like my last album, Yours Unfaithfully, is very personal, extremely personal. And it took a couple of years to write the music and like get everything ready. And it's much more me than the other stuff. I'm putting on a play more when I sing like in a traditional jazzy way. It's like an act, But my own music is just from the heart. I have to say that I prefer doing that.
Doing your own music? Because
it just feels, feels more meaningful. Like I'm giving something. Yeah. The other project is more entertainment, And I'm in a few other, like I do all kinds of things. I'm even in a dance music duo that does like club music. Which is, that's fun.
Yeah, I believe so. How do you decide on like the instrumentations or arrangement? Do you have any say or strong opinions when you reinterpret things? Because like on your solo album, there is like electronic bass and synthesizers.
Yeah.
While on Alfie, it's more classical jazzy, I would say.
Well, my own album is just, I decide everything pretty much.
Yeah.
But I mean, it comes organically though, with like the producer and, the band. Mm-hmm. Like it's the same band as on my album before that, Drowned to Die a Little. And I really just love the band. But I wanted more synths and more electronic weird sounds on this album. So I just, asked for that and made some demos and, I think it comes organically because if you're there with the band, you sort of hear what's supposed to be there. And
it's also very detailed, I would say. Like there's a lot of things going on and quite deliberately placed instruments and music.
Yeah, I mean, we record like the bass in a studio all together.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's sort of like the bass to the recording is live. And then we add on to it, and you sit in the studio, you're listening to the bass stems, and you're like, oh, I can hear an omnichord there, I just want a little bit of glitter there at the end of that meaning, and that's so fun to do.
Yeah, one can definitely hear it.
Because you're just like completely in a creative space, and you get to do whatever you want, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But like the Laufe project is more just a traditional jazz group stripping down the songs of Burt Bacharach, which are always like played in very elaborate arrangements with like a brass orchestra and everything. So if you just take the song itself and then try to play it with these instruments, and it's more like acoustic sounding.
Yeah, definitely.
You sort of have to find ways to compensate for all the crazy arrangements.
Yeah.
And that's also like fun and challenging, and but it's like you have these instruments and you have these abilities, so you just have to make do with that, and that's fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, the compositions are also just stunningly beautiful after all these years. I mean, I've asked myself because the Bacharach songs are quite old, and some of the lyrics seem to stand quite in opposition to your own writing.
Yeah.
Especially songs like Wives and Lovers.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
But when I play that live, I always explain that it's, I say to the audience, this was written as instructions for married women back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you basically say exactly the opposite on your own album.
Yeah. We joke about it when we play it live. Hey, little girl, comb your hair, fix your makeup. Soon he will open the door. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And just being available for him. It's, quite old-fashioned, I would say.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I played that Saturday. We played the last show with Alfie. And I sort of went a little political before playing that song. I was like, oh, these are instructions from the 50s or something, how married women are supposed to behave. And we can sort of feel a wind of that kind of thinking coming from the West. It's a bit scary,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you're asking if I meant those lyrics, like literally,
no, that's not what came across. Definitely not.
Yeah. But if you want, if that's what you want in your life, that's fine. Yeah. Just as long as you get to choose.
So, what does it take for you to write and co-compose or co-produce your own music? Do you work alone or rather in a group? How does it start and what inspires you?
It's all kinds of starts, beginnings. It can start with me just having a feeling that I want to describe in a song. And I start with a word. I might start with the lyrics. I might start with chords. I might start with a melody. I might just get like a little snippet of an instrumental thing from somebody else. And then we sort of go from there. I might sit down with a colleague and write together just from scratch. I might show up with fully written lyrics, and then we write a song to that. It's so different.
Okay.
And that's also something I love because I'm not heavy on routines. I like, not knowing what's going to happen. So, yeah, it happens all kinds of ways. The song Fountains is written by me and my manager, or she's in my management team, Maya Davis. She's amazing. She's from Montreal. And we had like a heart-to-heart. We were talking about boys and girls and whatever. And then we just sat by the computer and came up with a song on the fly,
Okay. That's pretty interesting because I would have talked about Fountains anyway because it's very much about desire and like actively desiring somebody.
Yes.
It's also the only bilingual song on the album. Like there's the first two bars, I think, of the second verse are in Icelandic.
Mhm.
And if I heard correctly, it's in 6/8 time signature, which is also quite interesting. How did that came about?
I don't know. It just came naturally.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, but I mean the song is just about, you know, sex, I guess,
Yeah.
which is like a hobby of mine, I guess. And the lyrics are a bit, you know, vulgar for
Yeah.
conservative people, but they can be interpreted in different ways,
Yeah.
you know. But what went on in my mind when I wrote them is maybe not safe for work, but
Okay.
and the Icelandic part is kind of naughty, so that's fun.
It's interesting how we perceive it. Like when I first listened to the song, I assumed it was in 4/4, and like the verses have really slow 4/4 feel to them, and then the chorus hits, and like this triplet hi-hat in the chorus like opens it up, I think, and it's a really interesting choice.
No, I mean I don't really think theoretically about music when I write it. It just comes out in some way, and then you have to like figure out what it
Yeah.
is. And then having studied music helps with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I do not write music theoretically, which I'm too like impatient to do that, I think. I just have this like thing that wants to come out, and it just needs to come out, and then I just have to figure out how to write it down.
Another song I found also really interesting is Period. It has like a sort of bluesy vibe.
Yeah.
It's extremely smooth, and your voice is just extraordinary. Was the melody there first, or the lyrics the way you decided to sing it? What way did you produce it?
That song, like, it started when I was standing in line for security at the airport.
Okay.
And there was this woman behind me who was always bumping into me and like breathing on my neck. And I got so irritated because I had PMS, and I was just like, I was furious, but I couldn't do anything about it because I was standing there, you know, sweating with my bag and this woman bumping into me. So I started like writing these lyrics in my head, and I almost finished it on the airplane on my phone.
Okay.
And then my friend Ursa Shaw, we got together, we wrote the song Cute Face, which is on the album. And then we're like, oh, we should write another one. You know, I have these lyrics that I wrote, and they're kind of like crazy and very violent.
Yeah.
But maybe we could write like a cute song to it, so it sounds a little bit weird. And then it just came out. I don't know. It just came very naturally to that. And then when we recorded it and we were mixing, I said to Albert Finnboason, the guy who mixed it, and the co-producer and sound engineer, I'm like, I want my voice to sound like the devil in some places, because it's, you know, you need to like hear that it's violent. That's what I hear in my head when I have PMS.
Yeah, I mean, the effects on your voice at the end of the song are also really staggering, I would say. They have quite an effect.
Yeah. I recorded some like strange sounds using all kinds of weird little things in my studio. I think I had like a chain and a glass and some paper. So if you listen carefully at the end of that song, you can hear all kinds of like little weird sounds.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song from your album, or a song that you particularly like to perform?
No, it's like your babies, you know.
Yeah. You love them all equally.
Yes.
Okay. I also thought That Heart is a really intense song, almost has a musical quality to it. Like it's very dramatic in the way it's built up, and when the instruments sets in the end, it's just really satisfying.
Yeah.
There's also some vocal productions in the end that is really interesting. What was that progress like?
I sort of wanted that part to be even more heavy. And when we play it live, I have to like really push the band to play it as heavy as I want it.
Okay.
Because I want it to like almost break your heart, you know. Like I want you to really feel it.
It's already quite
because
quite
it's
hard.
it's a very like personal, very dramatic song, and it took me a while to get the scream there right. Because I hold the note very long and I go like slide it up, but that that also just came naturally. And then I did some overdubs. I did some screaming on there and like almost growling. If you listen carefully, you can hear me growl like a like a metal vocal kind of thing. And then we also used the same effects as on Period, like a formant kind of thing.
Yeah.
And pitch shifter. So it sort of sounds like a guy, or like the devil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's quite effective, honestly. And another song that really struck me because like it doesn't fit anywhere in the stuff I've heard from you is Silver Cowboy.
Yeah.
With the Western elements and also this heavy storytelling about, telling a story of freedom. The last line of the song is, I want to write like the boys do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also an interesting choice, putting a Western song.
Yeah, that was also me and Maya Davis. We wanted to... No, you know how it started? Oh my God, I dreamt about silver cowboy boots.
Okay.
And I couldn't find my silver cowboy boots anywhere. And I was just like looking for them everywhere, trying to ask people, I can't find my boots. And I told Maya about this, and she's like, we need to write a song about that. Oh, what's it about? And then we were talking about, freedom, feminism, all kinds of, just being able to do all the things that men can do without being asked about it,
Yeah, and I mean, the Western genre is something that lends itself to it, although it has been, like jazz, heavily male-dominated. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess we were a little bit inspired by Beyonce's album as well, Cowboy Carter, because it had just come out when we wrote it, I think. And it was just everywhere, cowboy things. And in her case, it's like groundbreaking because she's black and it's cowboy music, which has always been very like white.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were thinking, what should the cowboy be? Freedom. And he's been everywhere. He's free to ride however he wants. So yeah, that's just how it came about.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm also very much look forward to your concert in Greifswald.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, we would like to ask our last questions in honor of the great podcast Nordlit, a Scandinavian literature podcast. They always ask their guest, if you could talk to your younger, in this case musical self, what would you tell her? What advice would you give? Or
stop doubting yourself. And get rid of shame.
Yeah.
You're just as good as the boys are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's great advice. So thank you a lot for your time, Stína. It was lovely talking to you, and I'm very much looking forward to your concert.
Same. I'm extremely excited about it. Dankeschön.
Dieser Podcast wurde im Rahmen des Festivals Nordischer Klang produziert. Das Programm und Tickets gibt es auf der Website www.nordischerklang.de. Moderiert hat Tim Pfeifer. Für Technik und Postproduktion war Alva Reifenstein verantwortlich. Die redaktionelle Leitung lag bei Henrike Thauer und Westfeld. Intro und Outro wurden von Johanna Mertl gesprochen. Die Musik ist von Tim Pfeifer.